It's here. It has finally arrived. The article has dropped, and look at this mugshot. It is beautiful. It is ushikushi. We got Sargon of Akkad next to Jones of Alex. And this whole article has one purpose: to tell you why you need to hate Subscribestar. You need to hate Subscribestar in order to fight against hate. And you also need to hate these people to fight against hate. Wow, beautiful logic, right? This is so American. It is brewed and forged within the depths of California. My God. Subscribestar, an online subscription platform, is allowing dozens of far-right propagandists, conspiracy theories, and the purveyors of medical misinformation to generate almost $2 billion a year from fans. So, first of all, $2 billion a year from a business the size of Subscribestar is really, really low. I mean, if you compare it to Patreon or other similar businesses, it's almost nothing. Secondly, like, none of these accusations are a crime. Like, being a conspiracy theorist is not banned by the law. Now, I love Elon Musk's definition of what free speech is and should be. Free speech should exist as long as it's legal. Now, there may be certain things, like the purveyor of medical misinformation, which is dangerous for our society. Well, if that's the case, then the people in charge should make laws that ban purveying medical misinformation. But we don't want to do that, right? Because you don't need to do that in 2022. Like, in 2022, you can just crack down on the freedom of the press by, number one, deciding who is a journalist and who isn't. And the answer is, if you work for the corporate media, you're a journalist. If you do independent journalism, then you're not. And secondly, you notice that all important journalism is happening on the internet, and the internet is owned by a couple of companies, so you can crack down on their competition, right? You crack down on BitChute, you crack down on Subscribestar, so that everyone is forced to use Patreon, everyone is forced to use Facebook and Twitter and other far-left extremist platform. Because, by the way, like, on Twitter, you also have far-right propagandists. You also have conspiracy theorists and the purveyors that purvey. But they're not talking about it, right? Like, they're not attacking Twitter. For example, the dreaded January 6th, right? It was organized on Facebook and Twitter. And notice that no one attacked it. What did they attack? Oh, they attacked Parler. Because the interest is to maintain and to centralize where information can be disseminated online. So you restrict the avenues that people have so that they're more easy to control. And this is what's happening here, right? Surprisingly, a couple of months before an important election. This article isn't attacking Jones of Alex or Carl of Benjamin. They're attacking BitChute and they're attacking Subscribestar. And they make the argument that they shouldn't exist because purveyors purvey. Okay, but like, if you were to apply the same argument, car companies shouldn't exist because car companies allow purveyors to purvey. The streets are also problematic because the purveyors that purvey walk on the streets. And it creates this like very bizarre thing where, let's talk about purveying of purveyors, right? If I purvey on social media, I'm supposed to get banned. But if I go on the streets, I can purvey all I want. How does that make any sense, right? Like, if I go in a bar with a couple of friends, I purvey away. But if I'm on social media, the moment I decide to purvey, oh, that's a danger to our democracy. That's a big danger. And not to mention, the concept of a platform like BitChute, which allows for people to just do whatever they want, the same way the postal office allow for people to send whatever mails they want. Oh no, this is dangerous. It's dangerous. You can't do that. Like, these people, if you have a time machine and force them to live into the past, they would advocate for the postal service to read every single mail, to have the phone company bug people's phones. Yeah, they used to do that. You know where? In Soviet Russia and in communist China and in Nazi Germany. Like, Only there were the people in power like concerned with what the people have to say and what they think. And they didn't do that in free countries. They didn't do that in America. They didn't do that in Western Germany. And funny enough, people were trying to go to Western Germany where the purveyors purveyed. Like they didn't want the safety of Eastern Germany. I mean, they had the Stasi over there to guarantee the safety of people. They listened to people's phones. They controlled the press to make sure that safety is being disseminated, and yet people were running away from the safety. And this is the same ideological thing that's coming now back, right? Like you need to have the same level of control and become more like China, give away liberty and freedom, and in exchange, I don't know, like protect our democracy, whatever that means, because clearly it's more important than liberty or freedom, which is the founding principle of the United States. The founding fathers did not found the United States, oh, let's have democracy. No, they were like, okay, we need liberty. We need freedom. That was the founding thing. And it's interesting because I don't even see the word liberty being mentioned in the press in modern day almost at all, and I read the press daily. I mean, even the Democrats used to call themselves liberals, right? Like, don't they still do that? Like, you would think liberty is something that they would value. But no, apparently not. So, I don't know who these bad people are that they talk about. I only know Sargon and someone else. But apparently, like, one bad person here is also a elected official. So, like, the problem is that Subscribestar allows an elected official to make money from its supporters. Like, what? How is that a bad thing? And the reason they're attacking Subscribestar now is also due to the fact that one of the founders happens to be Russian. Okay? Oh, so clearly, he must have ties to Vladimir Putin. This is the moral hysteria we're at. Now, the interesting part is, why did they went after Sargon? Like, what the fuck did he do now? Apparently, he's a male supremacist. And I'm like, what the fuck is a male supremacist? So I clicked on it, and apparently, it misrepresents all women as inferior, manipulative, and stupid. I never seen Sargon do any of these things. He is a subjugator. Really, Carl Benjamin, father of two, married man who employs women at his business, is a subjugator. Like, you look at this person and you're like, oh my god, he's going to subjugate my mother. Hashtag concern. You know, like in a world where the Supreme Court nominee justice cannot define what a woman is, I think you have much higher problems than Mr. Benjamin. But of course, you know, the purpose of this article is not to convince you. Because anyone that actually follows the trend knows that this is filled with lies. I think Andy Ngo demonstrated quite accurately that everything the Southern Poverty Law Center is accusing the people here of doing have done themselves. So that's not the purpose. The purpose is to give justification for companies to cut ties with Subscribestar. That is the main purpose. So that you don't have an alternative, you need to use Patreon. And Patreon is one of the most fascist corporations that I have seen on the web. The stories that I get from artists, okay, so people who aren't tied to politics at all. It's just someone that likes to draw and get money from his peers. Some artists, okay, so not all, but some artists that are more prominent and they're very profitable, they even get a liaison from Patreon. And the liaison tells them what they're allowed to draw, where they can post it. They take control of their content and stuff. It's like, it's insane. It's ridiculous. None of these things are being done by Subscribestar, by the alternative. And this is why they're going after Subscribestar. Because more and more people are migrating away from Patreon. They don't like this level of control. Like, it's supposed to be a business. It's just a middleman. Like, they're supposed to take money from some people and give it to another person. But the way Patreon expresses themselves, when I saw them have communiques and explain to people what they are doing, they view themselves as if they are the ones giving money, you know, like, to people. So when I get money from Patreon, I'm not getting money from my fans in the eyes of Patreon. No, they're the ones doing me a kindness, like a nice gesture, but by providing me with their cash. And because of that, I need to be grateful, right? So they also get to monetize my content now. They stalk me everywhere I go to make sure that I follow their TOS. Because otherwise they cut me off, right? And this is the company that is being promoted. This is the correct way, the normal, healthy way of thinking in a liberal society. Like, we need more businesses like Patreon and less businesses like BitChute. Absolutely insane. I don't like sporting fascism, by the way. Corporate fascism counts as well. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.